At the Sports History Network, we're all about sports yesteryear, and so we're so pleased to introduce you to Row One, an online memorabilia gallery and shop that brings you sports history to life anywhere. The Row One gallery includes over 5,200 gorgeously reproduced prints of team posters, game program covers, game tickets, advertisements, and more in baseball, pro and college football, pro and college basketball, and more. And any gallery item may be printed in a variety of sizes on wood, metal, canvas, acrylic, or poster paper. And in Row One shop, check out the thousands more of unique items with the retro and historical designs dating back to 1876, including t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, phone cases, mugs, blankets, pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com, ROW1, for access to the full Row One catalog and for gallery prints and gift items, plus get a 15% discount off all prints on the Row One Pictorum Gallery with coupon code SHN15. Follow the link on the show notes. Hello friends, this is Darren Hayes of PigskinDispatch.com. Before we take you to your favorite Sports History Network show, just want to tell you a little bit about some merch that you can pick up that represents your favorite SHN podcasts. So far, there's t-shirts, coffee mugs, and even books from some of the authors that do podcasts right here on SHN. Who could buy something better than that, than have the history right from the gentleman that you hear talking about it? But we also are adding things each and every day. And where's that store, may you ask? Well, it's at sportshistorynetwork.com. Up at the top, there is the SHN merch button. Click on that, it'll take you right to the store, and you can be representing your favorite podcast and show the world that, hey, on the swag that I'm using, it's the headquarters of sports yesteryear, Sports History Network, and my favorite podcaster, the Sports History Network store. Shop there today.
It started on October 29, 2003. The Cleveland Cavaliers were in Sacramento to kick off the new NBA season, and all eyes were on an 18-year-old rookie who bore a large tattoo on his back which read, "Chosen One." The rookie came into the NBA with more hype and expectation than any 18-year-old ever has. If his career became anything short of becoming one of the all-time greats, it would have been considered a disappointment. About 3 minutes into that first game, he received a pass and made a 10-foot jump shot from the right baseline. Those were the first 2 points of LeBron James' career. This is the story of reaching 40,000 points. And this is Basketball History 101.
This is Basketball History 101 with Rick Loayza.
Welcome back to award-winning Basketball History 101, part of the Sports History Network. I am your host, Rick Loayza, and this is the podcast where we bring to life some of the forgotten stories from basketball history. We are bringing old school basketball to a new school audience. And today we bring you a bonus episode to trace the history of scoring milestones. If you are a fan of the NBA, then you know that LeBron James scored his 40,000th regular season point. It happened a few nights ago against the Denver Nuggets. The game was in LA, and half of Hollywood was out there to witness this incredible moment. It was a couple of minutes into the second quarter. The score was 35-32 in the Lakers' favor. LeBron had the ball on the right wing with Michael Porter Jr. defending him. He faked right and spun to his left. He got all the way to the basket for a left-handed layup. The funny thing is that he jumped off the wrong foot for the score. On a left-handed layup, it is proper form to jump off your right foot. In this case, he jumped off his left, but still made the shot. Well, because he is LeBron James. And that was his 40,000th regular season career point. He is the first player ever to reach that milestone. And being that this is a basketball history podcast, I wanted to take a moment to trace the history of these incredible milestones. George Mikan was the first player to score 10,000 points in his career, and he reached that milestone in 1956, and at the time, it was considered an unbreakable record. The NBA was about a decade old, and the idea of scoring 10,000 points in a career was beyond the imagination of most basketball fans. Back then, most players only played 6 or 7 years before their bodies broke down from wear and tear. Sports medicine and surgical procedures were nowhere near what we have today. Now, since George Mikan, over 250 other players have scored 10,000 points or more in their careers. But at the time, many thought that Mikan's record would last forever. So let us fast forward 8 years to 1964, when the great Bob Pettit became the first player to reach 20,000 career points. By the time the NBA reached the mid-1960s, players were now lasting between 9 and 12 years as new knowledge emerged about how an athlete should take care of his body to extend his career. And since Pettit played, about 50 other players have also reached the 20,000 point mark. But unlike when Mike had scored 10,000, most people had a strong feeling that Pettit's record of 20,000 would not last very long, and that is because Wilt Chamberlain was already in the league. Chamberlain was climbing the scoring ladder like he had a rocket strapped to his back. While Pettit was the record holder in 1964, it was only a matter of time before Chamberlain zoomed past Pettit. In fact, just 2 years later, Chamberlain had scored 20,000 points himself, but 30,000 was an entirely different thing. In the big scheme of things, it did not take that long. In 1972, Wilt Chamberlain became the first player to score 30,000 points, breaking through that milestone. And since there was nobody else in the league that was scoring in the same way that Chamberlain did, it was assumed by nearly everyone who cared about basketball that nobody else would ever score 30,000 points, and that this record, again, would last forever. As of 2024, there are 7 total players who have scored 30,000 points or more, and this is the upper reaches of high scoring and long-lasting careers. But 40,000 points? Well, that just seemed utterly impossible. It was about a year ago when we did an episode on LeBron James breaking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time scoring record. And in that episode, we went through all of the players that in any given season were the NBA's all-time leading scorer. Well, here we are again to share another episode on the scoring of LeBron James. There is a big part of me that wants to say that 40,000 will never again be reached, but people said the same thing about 10,000 and 30,000. In order to reach this amazing milestone of 40,000, a player has to play for an incredibly long time, which LeBron James has in playing 21 seasons and still going. He also has a career average of 27 points per game, and he has managed to stay relatively healthy for most of that time. Now, this is the only way that another player could even think about 40,000. He would have to maintain a career scoring average of 25 points or higher, miss relatively few games due to injury, and play for at least 20 years. That criteria is going to narrow things down a lot. If anyone will ever again score 40,000 points, it will probably be decades from now, and the player may not even be born yet. This is the 78th year of the NBA, and nearly 5,000 players have participated in the league over that time, and it took that long for just one player to finally reach the milestone of 40,000 points. It could be another 78 years before we see it again, or maybe not. Players today are playing longer than ever. It is not unusual at all for star players to reach season 18 or 19 or even season number 20. As medical professionals learn more about the human body and sports medicine, and as recovery techniques get better and surgical techniques get better, players in all sports are enjoying really long careers that would have been unimaginable back in the 1950s. So I am sure that someone will eventually break LeBron's record. It's just a matter of time. Well, thanks for hanging out with us for this bonus episode. I want to thank my producer and editor, Jacob Loayza. Join us each week as we continue to mine the history of basketball for more great stories from the past. Take care and see you soon.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com. Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, aka the Football History Dude, and I wanted to thank you for stopping by to listen to another episode here on the Sports History Network. Our podcasters are passionate about uncovering and sharing sports stories from yesteryear. And if you didn't know it already, we have over 30 shows across the network covering all sorts of sports history topics. In fact, here's a glimpse into one of our awesome podcasts here on the network.
This is Mark Mortier, and if you're a sports history fan like me, tune in and hear me talk about some great sports moments of the past. Growing up during the 1970s, I got to watch some of the most iconic moments in sports history. Hank Aaron breaking Babe Ruth's home run record. Willis Reed limping out of the locker room in Game 7 of the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden as the fans erupted with a thunderous ovation. The 1980 Miracle on Ice as Team USA defeated the powerful Soviet Union in the Olympics. Listen every Tuesday on Yesterday's Sports.
How about that? I bet you're super hyped to go listen to that new podcast, right? Well, to learn about this show and all the other podcasts on the network, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com/podcast. Again, that's sportshistorynetwork.com/podcast. Head over there today to find your next favorite sports history podcast.
Hello, sports history fans. I'm Ross from the podcast Pigskin Tales. You're about to jump into another thrilling sports history moment, but first, let's dive into today's sponsor, just in time for the holiday season. Introducing Art of Words, the brainchild of word artist Dan Duffy from Philadelphia. Dan meticulously crafts stunning images by handwriting relevant words from some of the greatest sports moments in time. These unique budget-friendly illustrations are the perfect gift, sparking cherished memories and capturing hearts. Choose from city skylines, sports, history, and musicians to find a piece for everyone. And here's the exciting part. For that sports fanatic in your life, gift them a piece of their favorite team or player's history. Art of Words tells a compelling story. Explore collegiate stadiums, each meticulously crafted with every football victory etched into words. Or venture into baseball stadiums, handwritten with every player from the team's illustrious history. My favorite on the site is Bryce Harper 2021 MVP year. Because I'm a big stats guy, I think that's one of the coolest things ever. Check it out. Don't wait. Order a print today for yourself and your loved one this holiday season. Transform your wall into a gallery of captivating art and surprise your family and friends with a print of their own. Use code SHN15 at artofwords.com for a 15% discount on your order in November and December. Visit Art of Words, where words magically transform into stunning art, evoking cherished memories and touching the hearts of those who you care about. Again, use the code SHN15 for 15% off at artofwords.com.